How good are you at answering open-ended interview questions? These kinds of questions are notoriously tough, and I think it's so common for people to completely flub them. So earlier this week, my student Christina from my Greensboro College classes actually reached out to me and she asked for my advice on how to answer the question, what makes you happy? So this is an extremely wide open question, but let me give you a little bit of context. So Christina is getting a minor in analytics from Greensboro College, and we just wrapped up the case studies and business analytics class this fall. So I've had her for about 4 months, and we're about to come into the spring semester where she's going to be finishing her senior year, and she's going to be taking my analytics minor capstone, where she gets to work with one of my consulting clients. So she is applying for the Wake Forest of Masters of Analytics program, and her interview for that program is next week. So we had a conversation over the phone about how she can answer that question. They gave her a bank of questions, and I think she pretty much got most of them except for that one question of what makes you happy. And I think it's completely understandable why she was a little stumped. So let me unpack what I think they're trying to get at with this question. So number one, they kind of want to know who you are, just to kind of get that personal touch. But also two, you want to share who you are as a human, and if you can, if it's possible, make the argument why you are the human who is right for this specific program. So one thing that I've noticed about Christina, having taught her for 4 months, is that she is intensely curious. So let me give you an example of this. The last semester, or the last month of last semester, we were doing case studies in Tableau, and one of them was on survey analysis. So she showed up to that lecture having already watched 5 or 6 videos on how to study survey data. So what this is a signal for me is that she is intensely curious. So maybe she can kind of use that little tidbit about herself to answer that question of what makes you happy. So at a high level, maybe that answer could be, I think I'm happiest when I'm learning something new. So this is a really solid answer in that I think being curious and this is a term that I kind of told her to throw out there if she remembers, of being a lifelong learner, plugs really well into being a good Masters of Analytics student. It also plugs in really well with being a good employee or a good analyst. So what she could say is that, I'm curious on a wide array of topics. Specifically, let me tell you about, my last semester at Greensboro College where we studied survey data. So I went down this huge rabbit hole to study, number one, how do you collect survey data? I found a video on YouTube where someone went through step by step of how to create a Google Forms setup to where you can actually collect data. Then they showed, how it was actually exported, and then I didn't realize this, but the data that's collected from surveys actually has to be manipulated most times before it can be analyzed. So what this is showing is that she is curious and she loves learning, but to take it even a step further, she likes learning about analytics. So that's extremely valuable for the hiring committee, or I guess the acceptance committee for Wake Forest, to know that, hey, this person is actually very driven and very motivated to learn about what we're teaching. So we for sure should let her in on our program. So I think those were just some high-level thoughts. And also, too, this is a new format for me in that it's just a vlog. So I'm not going to edit this at all. These are me just kind of sharing some of my experiences and giving some advice. So let me know if you like this format. Also, please let me know if you disagree. Let me know. This may be a little bit too robotic of a process of answering these open-ended questions, but I think the key takeaway is to think through who you are as a human, and then also how does it apply to the program, and marry those two.